Millions of people are clamoring to come to America. In some cases, they even risk their lives to come here. America is not a happy accident. It's the combination of many different providential forces that work together at just the right time to produce our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. But today, when this story is told, too often they leave out the important role that the Bible and the Christian faith played in the creation of America. Here are some comments on the Bible and the creation of America from Eric Metaxas and the late Billy Falling and Marshall Foster.
But by the time you get to the Founding Fathers, by the time you get to the colonies, they had the wonderful miracle of having 150 years during the colonial era to use as an incubator of freedom, separated from the tyrants of Europe, where they could take the Bible that had been just introduced to the world the century before. Only in the 16th century had people read the Bible. And it's interesting that the Pilgrims came out of Holland at the exact time people like Peter Cuneus, who was a Hebrew and Greek scholar, and this is one of his books, The Hebrew Republic. Many other Hebrew and Greek scholars were at the University of Leiden the same exact decade that the Pilgrims were there. The Pilgrims then were reasoning from these scholars, 1,300 books written in that century on that subject. And they reasoned back to, guess what? The Bible gives us a form of government. It gives us a way to, and based on the sin nature of man, there must be checks and balances between forms of government. So you need to have a House of Representatives. You need to have a Senate. You need to have a chief executive, but not a king. You don't need a king because God is king. And you need to have a Supreme Court. All of these things, the built system that is the exact structure that came into our Constitution was something that Moses had developed for the Hebrew people before he died and sent them across the Jordan River. And when the founders built this country, they knew that was the foundation. That's why it was so successful.
What makes us exceptional is that we are founded upon the rule of law taken from the scriptures, learned from the Bible. For we're not for the Black Robe Regiment, those preachers of the Revolution who preached against the King George and all of his tirades and all of his injustices and stood up for the rule of law. We wouldn't have an America today.
Every single one of the founders, including Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, they all understood that there is no way you can have liberty without virtue. You cannot practically have virtue without faith. And they knew that without faith, there was no way to have the kind of liberty that they were hoping to have and to keep for as long as possible.
It seems these days that if there's one book that is generally not welcome in the schools, it's the Bible. Yet the Bible helped give birth to America. How crazy is that? That's censorship. That's like millions in our culture celebrating Christmas, yet not even acknowledging Jesus. It's his birthday, but he's not invited? Well, every beat of the human heart is courtesy of Jesus Christ, and one day we'll have to give an account to him. I'm glad that so many of these settlers and founders of America recognized God in their lives and built a country largely based on biblical principles, which has certainly grown to be among the greatest of nations by God's grace. For Providence Forum, I'm Jerry Newcomb.